Welcome back to the official podcast home of the Association for Materials Protection and Performance. I'm Ben Dubose, news editor with the AMP publications team. AMP, of course, is the shorthand acronym for the association. And as far as the publications, we've got three distinct brands and outlets. That's CoatingsPro Magazine, Materials Performance Magazine, and Corrosion Journal. All are housed within our publications group. As far as AMP, the big story for us is that we recently wrapped up the 2026 AMP Annual Conference and Expo. Held in late March in Houston, it was a record-setting show with more than 6,300 attendees and over 350 exhibitors, including 72 exhibitors that were brand new and also 13 new sponsors. Houston is home to one of AMP's global headquarters, so we were absolutely thrilled to be able to welcome so many people to our backyard. And then as far as AMP publications, one of the brand new offerings for us at this year's conference was our AMP Media Studio. It was basically a recording studio inside the larger AMP booth at the exhibit hall. And so what we did there, we brought in and interviewed a handful of leaders within both the association as well as the broader industries and markets that we serve. Topics of discussion included highlights of the show, industry trends, feedback from the market, as well as a few random things that are unique to each person's background. So throughout the month of April, what we're doing here on this channel is playing back those one-on-one exclusive interviews that we taped from the show. We may also use some of those quotes in future articles within our print publications or on the websites, so please stay tuned for that. But the first step is publishing the interviews and letting you all take a listen, and so that's what we're doing right now. Let's roll the tape.
Lisa Sciortino, CoatingsPro Managing Editor, here with Coatings legend Terry Greenfield. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great. The legend thing's a lot to live up to. I'm not quite sure that's a good one, but thank you.
Well, how are you enjoying the conference?
You know, it's been, what's the great, find the right adjective, but it can tell the organization is really back in full. I mean, they've been good, but Houston's the home, right? I mean, that's always going to be one of the biggest, but just the activities, the attendance, the show's huge. It really feels good to be an AMP member right now.
How many years is this for you? How many years have you been attending?
You know, I'm not sure, but let's just say it's more than 30, okay? And leave it at that.
Wow. What have you seen change over the years? Obviously, it's probably grown in size.
Well, it's grown in size, and again, there's the change now with the organizations, the merger between NACE and SSPC with AMP and just the representation and the equipment that's here now. And it's just, it's something for everybody, right? There's something for everybody within the industry. Very, very well covered.
Standing. What do you enjoy most about attending? I assume a lot of networking for you, a lot of seeing familiar faces.
That really, I mean, there's the information exchange and all the things everybody talks about that's part of it. But it is great when you see people, a lot of people I don't get to see except here. And it's just, rekindle old friendships and hear how people are doing. And I think that's, we all humans, we like interaction, and we seeing friends and seeing people doing well. Unfortunately, you hear about a few that aren't with us anymore. You hit that age kind of category, but it's a lot of fun, and it's just been great to see the activity. The keynote was just phenomenal this year.
Really engaging. He was a terrific speaker.
Well, it's engaging and just the level of presentation, in the room and the graphics and the media, and it's impressive.
What excites you about the state of the industry today?
We look at obviously times in the industry and after COVID and things were slow and there's always been some of the economic issues and things pushing, but I think everyone's in gear again. I think there's a lot of activity. There's always some new equipment, innovation. It's good to see, but I think it's just the engagement of the industry again and looking to further, expand and more products, more equipment, and making that available for people to see and get exposed to. That's really these shows are about a lot of times introducing what wares and products and services they have and giving people the opportunity to see if it has any value for them. And, you look, I mean, it's a great room in here sitting with everybody else, in activity and it's busy.
Yeah, for sure. wanted to make sure that we mention and let people know that you are the new technical editor of CoatingsPro. We could not be more thrilled to have you on board. Why, when you're so busy, would you take a gig like that?
There's I gotta phrase this the right way. There's the things to do that are fun and exciting and have some value, and it's a little different, and you do those. Because there's so many things, you like. I'm not retired yet. Don't know that will ever happen anytime soon, but I see that as in my life being able to do more things that I want to do instead of things that I have to do. And being able to contribute to the magazine is providing that little bit of help with the technical piece. I'm thrilled. I was honored to be asked.
Well, we're pleased as punch to have you. So
I haven't learned how to say no to a lot of things for AMP. That's probably one of my problems is it's hard for me to say no to a request from AMP.
That's great. The magazine's celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and you've probably been reading it as long. What are your thoughts on being part of that team now, and how do you hope the next 25 years of CoatingsPro looks?
It's interesting to go back, the historical piece and, when it started and then they brought it on and as it grew. And again, especially with the changes today and how people do advertising, right? And still being able to have industry look at it as a valuable document. And I think a lot of it is, sharing. Again, in my role, I try to prevent problems first, and then very often I have to solve a problem or determine why there's a problem. But having the format of CoatingsPro and how many of the articles are presented provides great feedback in how to do it right. And then never say never again, which the point is, unfortunately, they don't never again. It does happen again. But the point is to take those lessons learned and not do it. So it's a great tool if it's well utilized. You don't have to make mistakes. You don't have to have failures and errors if you spend the time and effort in planning to make sure that you're doing it the correct way, as specified, taking into consideration the manufacturers, and not using hope as a strategy.
That's probably the best advice that's available, right? Do it the right way. Again, and just anything you're looking forward to about the conference this year or the industry going forward?
I guess the conference this year, again, we're already into, there's some great events coming up and those are always fun. There's a couple really good technical pieces on the marine and those symposia that I want to be able to do. I deliberately didn't take on a lot of extra activities so I would have time to attend some of the symposia. But I guess where I really want to see the industry continue is kind of what, this talent force effort is going to be phenomenal. And having that continue and to see where it is next year is going to be exciting because I know the staff has just been exceptional and how they've addressed issues and I guess that's one thing too. The level of excitement and enthusiasm with staff has just been incredible so far this week, and that's just wonderful to see from everybody where their involvement and their enthusiasm and their just desire to see it work and to keep growing the association.
Well, it helps to have folks like you behind us. So thank you so much for always being so dedicated to AMP and CoatingsPro. We're looking forward again to having you on the team and helping us out with our issues. So thank you again, Terry. It's been great chatting with you.
It's my pleasure. It's always great to talk with you and thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, that will do it for this interview from the 2026 AMP Annual Conference and Expo. But please stay tuned throughout the month of April because we've got quite a few of these that we're going to be debuting on our AMP and CoatingsPro podcast channels. Our hope is that the information and insights from these conversations will ultimately benefit our readers, association members, and the industry as a whole. And beyond the podcast channels, don't forget to check out our print publications, our social media pages, and our websites for CoatingsPro Magazine, Materials Performance Magazine, and Corrosion Journal. All of those brands are housed within our AMP Publications family, and we'll have lots of great exclusive content from the show coming out in the days and weeks ahead. Just stick with us and we'll have more to come. Anyway, that will do it for today. On behalf of our entire editorial team, I'm Ben Dubose, news editor for the AMP Publications Group. We appreciate you so much for checking out this interview, and please come back soon for more exclusive coverage of the 2026 AMP Annual Conference and Expo.